Joining us now, Republican strategist Janiyah Thomas and Democratic strategist Mally Smith. Thank you to you both for being here. So, a complicated issue on both sides. Janiyah, Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz, he's blasting HHS's moves to freeze these funds now. And he tweeted this last night, quote, "This is Trump's long game. We've spent years cracking down on fraudsters. It's a serious issue, but this has been his plan all along. He's politicizing the issue to defund these programs that help Minnesotans." Other Democrats, they're also alleging Republicans are mischaracterizing this, even saying it's putting Somalis at risk. What is your response to those accusations?
I think this is less about stigmatizing a group of people, more about, government accountability and giving American taxpayers the, knowledge about what their money is actually going towards, and more government accountability from the Minnesota lawmaker side.
Right. And Mally, to be fair, many on the left say they want to see fraud prosecuted, and it is being prosecuted according to the DOJ. But some on the left are claiming the Trump administration's goal was to defund these programs from the beginning, and they're just using this as a vehicle to do it, as Walz stated there. Is shutting down these funds political retribution? Or when we're talking about, billions of dollars of taxpayer money potentially at risk here, are these moves justified?
Well, I certainly think they should do everything in their power to investigate fraud and make sure anyone who is perpetrating it is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and any money that's being misused is clawed back so we can make the taxpayers whole as much as possible. But with that being said, I don't know if it's President Trump's end game to cut off this child care funding, but I can say it's misguided, because even, though there is fraud, this child care program provides legitimate services to folks across the state. So punishing the children of Minnesota for a few bad actors, I think, is misguided. I think they should investigate fraud and do everything they can to root out bad actors. But just because there's bad actors, you don't want to shut down a system that benefits kids overall. So that's where I'm at on this issue.
Well, Janiyah, what is your response to those claims? Some are saying the president should be using a scalpel here and not taking this widespread approach. What say you?
I think it's very appropriate for the president to take a widespread approach. It'd be different if we were talking about tens of thousands of dollars, but we're talking about millions of dollars in fraud. And I think that it's his right and his duty to Minnesota and the country to overlook and do some government oversight to find out where this money is actually going and shutting down the program.
So I wanted to ask you also, Mally, the DOJ is reporting fraud is likely in the billions of dollars, as we've outlined. Charges, people are facing about 100 people at this point, charges, and there have been quite a few prosecutions at the same time. These programs were easy to exploit, according to some reports. You had people flying into this state to do just that. The New York Times reporting on some of those cases. The Republican Minnesota House Speaker, Lisa DeMuth, she said on another network that the buck really stopped with the governor of the state. How much blame do you believe he should assume in this case?
Well, I don't know about blame, but he certainly needs to do everything he can to make sure that this fraud doesn't continue. But I do think it is important to push back on some of the Republican accusations here, chiefly that this fraud has not been addressed at all. As you mentioned, there's been prosecutions. Well, about 60 of the people who were prosecuted, that was under the Biden administration. And we need to continue to hold folks accountable. But this whole notion that Democrats, the former administration, weren't doing anything to hold fraud accountable, I think is not true. They've also claimed that the media has not been covering it. But again, that's also not true. The New York Times did a report a month ago. CNN did a report in 2024. And local media throughout the state has been reporting on this. So it's a legitimate issue, but I think there's some MAGA influencers who are making claims that get a little bit over their skis to try to hammer home a political point.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.